Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharachah Kodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. And I want to give a salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Yatazak Bob with the GMS Nebraska camp. And in this lesson, what I want to get into is based off this article from ZeroHedge.com titled Microsoft AI CEO warns most white-collar jobs fully automated within the next 12 to 18 months. This is going into the prophecy of the MOTB. The reason why Esau wants to bring this AI and automate jobs and, replace humans is because, Esau, who is the so-called white man who rules over this world today, what these elites want to do is that they want to create a system of automating things and digitizing things to where you have to be initiated in Esau's system for you to operate in society, which means that you have to come underneath his control. And automating these jobs and making it to where humans aren't working is a step for Esau to do that, and ultimately herd a person in the direction of receiving that chip. Now we're going to get into it in this lesson, and I was just speaking on a topic similar to this in yesterday's lesson, based off the movie Demolition Man, because some of the things we're going to speak about are things that you see in that movie, which was predictive programming. And us prophets, we constantly repeat certain things. We constantly go over certain things over and over and over. And we do that for a reason, because we are watching, and we have to make sure that we're constantly watching, that we're not caught off guard by these prophecies, that we're not sleeping. As a matter of fact, let's grab that, which is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 6, which says, "Therefore let us not sleep as do others, let us watch and be sober." So let's get that word sleep, which is Strong's G2518, which is the Greek word kathudo, which is to fall asleep, drop off to sleep, to sleep normally. Let's just get to the point. Metaphorically, to yield to sloth and sin, to be indifferent to one's salvation. So we can't be spiritually asleep. And a part of not being asleep is making sure that we're paying attention to these prophecies, because these prophecies indicate how close we are to the end. When you go to second Esdras chapter 9 and verse 5, it says, "For like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." The end of what? The end of Esau's rulership, the end of this kingdom. Let's read on. It says, "Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs." So what are those effects and signs? These prophecies that are coming to pass. They are signs of the end. They are tokens that have been left for us to see and look out into the world and see how close we are to the Lord's return, to the destruction of this kingdom, to the elect's salvation. It says, "And everyone that shall be saved," or it's like, we can end it right there. Just the point was in verse 6. So when we go back to 1 Thessalonians 5, as it said in that definition for sleep, says, "Therefore let us not sleep." So let's not be indifferent toward our salvation. Let's not be seeing all these things going on in the world and we're just like, okay, well, whatever. No, the things that are happening are very important. And so we are commanded to watch so that we can know what's going on, where we're at, what mindset we have to be in. It's important to know where we're at prophetically for when times like we know when the famine of the word is about to come, or we know that Jacob's trouble is nigh. People in the world that are sleeping, they're not going to know that these certain prophecies are happening and about to happen. So they're just going to be living as if, everything's fine. And those are the ones where it talks about if they would have watched, their house would not have been broken up by that thief. But those who are watching, those who are on guard, that thief is not going to, These times are not going to come as a thief in the night, because they watching, they checking the cameras, they on point. So let's read it. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. And it says watch, Strong's G 1127, Gregorio, which is to watch, to give strict attention to, be cautious, and activity is a constant thing. You're constantly watching. It's not just you're looking and then that's it. No, eh, these prophecies are things that are actually happening in the world. There's actually laws that are being passed. There's actually leaders in these governments that are saying and doing certain things, and you know there's actually stuff happening every single day that we have to be on top of to know how close we are to the end. It says to take heed lest through remission and indolence some destructive calamity suddenly overtake one. And that's, what's that? Remission and indolence. That's basically sleeping, because remission means, let's get it real fast. So like, I know this isn't even what I intended to get into in this lesson, but hey, as the apostles, the elders and the brothers say, there's lessons inside of lessons, so remission is, in the etymology for it, it says, getting to the point, relaxation, diminishing. So that's not activity. That's just chilling, and this isn't the time to be chill. It says, to take heed lest through remission and indolence. So that word indolence means laziness, avoidance of activity or exertion, laziness. So we have to exert ourselves. It says to take heed lest through remission and indolence some destructive calamity suddenly overtake one. So those of us who are in the know, who are, on point, these things ain't going to suddenly overtake us. It's going to be expected, when this dollar system crashes and when we go to a digital society. Why? Because we already knew Esau was about to do it, and we see him taking this dollar. We see, well, hey, look at, we about to get into this article, and it's going to show, they saying in the next 12 to 18 months that AI is about to start taking over white collar jobs. Not just white collar jobs. You got different factory jobs and different, blue collar positions that AI and, that can go through automated processes. And eventually Esau wants to replace as much human work as he can with AI. And we're going to get into why. I don't want to jump the gun. So let's just go ahead and get into the article. Just wanted to make that point real fast on why we have to constantly go over these things and constantly watch, because as prophets, we have a responsibility to blow the trumpet and let the people know what is happening. So we're going to keep on saying the same thing so that people can watch properly and people know where they're at, so let's get into it. It says the man leading Microsoft AI's sprawling efforts is sounding the alarm over imminent mass labor disruptions, warning that the overwhelming majority of white-collar professional work could vanish to automation far sooner than most business and policy leaders are willing to admit. It says in an interview with the Financial Times, Microsoft AI CEO Mustafa Suleyman forecasted that within the next 2 years, a vast swath of desk-bound tasks will be swallowed by AI. And hey, that's on track for them to accomplish their Agenda 2030. Let's look that up and see Agenda 2030, which is it says the 2030 agenda, or you know what, let's look it up here. Let's look it up in Grok, because sometimes they don't give what you're looking for when you just look it up on the internet. Agenda 2030 goals. So it says Agenda 2030 refers to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, a landmark framework adopted by all United Nations member states in September 2015. It provides a shared blueprint for peace, prosperity, and sustainability, often summarized as peace and prosperity for people and the planet. And what the scriptures say, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. because a part of that Agenda 2030, this is a part of that New World Order where Esau wants to fulfill his enterprise and get, majority of this world chipped. And that is, that prophecy, once Esau is going forward with, chipping the inhabitants of this earth, you can expect the Lord to come very soon, after that to destroy this system. It says, so let's get into the goals that they have for Agenda 2030. The first one is no poverty, to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Now, you would think, how is this going in the direction of Agenda 2030 if they want to end poverty, but they're saying that AI is taking all these jobs and it's going to leave a lot of people, without work and mess up the job market? Well, you have what Elon Musk, not just Elon Musk, but he speaks on it often. And what he speaks on is something called universal basic income, or as he likes to say, universal high income. Now, what is universal basic income? Let's get that. Universal basic income is a government guaranteed, unconditional, and regular cash payment made to all individuals regardless of their income, employment status, so whether you have a job or you don't, or household, designed to reduce poverty and provide economic stability. So basically, everybody is receiving a baseline income, and it's guaranteed. You're gonna get it, whether it's coming weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. It's almost like you're like you have a salary, but it's for everybody. Now you have Elon Musk, where he says that this universal basic income system is inevitable due to automation, which we're reading about in this article. And it says what he argues that as AI and robots take over most or all labor, manual, cognitive, everything, traditional jobs will vanish. Without income redistribution, society faces mass unemployment and inequality. And so what? There's going to have to be a shift, because it's not like everybody is just going to be able to go without jobs. The government is going to come in and bring a solution to the problem of AI taking over all these positions. But the thing is, what Esau is going to do is that he's going to make it to where he's not just going to give you this universal basic income. There's going to have to be something that comes with it, and what's that going to be? You're going to have to get with that digital system. This what the scriptures talk about when it says he causeth all to get that mark, because Esau is going to put people into a position to where they feel like they have to get this, and that's where it's going to take faith for us who are in this truth to deny this system, because even though Esau is going to put the squeeze on people and make it to where, it feels impossible to live without Esau's benefits and his ways that, he can, support life. He's going to make it feel impossible. But hey, we don't need Esau's way. We need Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is going to make sure that all those who follow them in righteousness, they're going to make sure that the elect is taken care of. But let's go back to it. It says, and this is more on what Elon Musk is saying. It says, in recent years, especially 2024 to 2026, Musk has upgraded his terminology, not just basic income, but high income. And so that's the thing. Elon Musk is involved with this agenda to 2030 stuff. He's an insider. He knows what the elites are doing. He's a part of that system. So he knows what's coming next. That's the reason why he is, speaking on these things. Shoot, he's a part of, the mark coming to pass with his Neuralink system, with them putting them, then chips in people's brains. So Elon Musk knows what's going on. So let's go back to the 2030 goals. It says no poverty, zero hunger, which is to end, that's self-explanatory. It says good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality. So you hear this, and they're trying to make it to where, we're basically living in this peaceful utopian world, but that's the thing. It's going to be Esau's going to make it seem as if this is some this beautiful way of life that he is creating, but it's going to be underneath this totalitarian rule, to where unless you are involved in his system, then you don't get the benefits from this so-called utopia that he's trying to build. And that brings me back to thinking about Demolition Man. To where that on the outside it seemed like that world and the society they had built was beautiful. The people who was ingratiated in it was like, oh yeah, this is the way we're supposed to be living. Everything's good now. Everything's peaceful. There's no crime. There's no violence. Everything's fine. But then you had the people who didn't want to get that chip. You had the people that didn't want to have to listen to what the elites told them that they have to be doing. And they was living on the outskirts. They was living underground, and they was in need. They was in poverty. They had to scratch and scrape to survive. They wasn't taken care of, and that's going to be the same thing in real life, to where Esau is going to make it very difficult for those who don't want to get with his way to live. So let's go back to. It's like I got a few things open. Let's just go back to the article and read some of that. So it says the specter of mass job displacements now haunts governments around the world, even as the true body count remains murky amid broader economic headwinds. Oh, and I want to make the point, Agenda 2030 is just a benchmark that Esau has. That's a goal year, but this will come to pass even quicker, because as the scriptures say in Matthew 24 and 22, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So the Lord is going to speed up these times, and he is speeding up the times. These prophecies are coming to pass quicker. These days are going by faster. And that's based off of Esau's science. They say that the days are that days are passing faster than they ever have in history. And that's the Lord's doing. And the Lord has it to where, prophecy is coming to pass at a faster rate. So even though Esau has his goal on when he wants to do these things, it's up to the Lord on when they're going to be done. And we want to hasten the end. As the scriptures tell us, that's the mindset we're supposed to be in. It says, haste to flee these times. So I just wanted to make that point real fast. But it says a recent Challenger report showed that AI was blamed for 7,624 job cuts in January, 7% of the month's total, and linked to 54,836 announced layoffs across 2025. And we're going to see that number get higher and higher and higher until the majority of the jobs that's being worked are worked by AI. So it's going to come a thing to where people are going to need some type of assistance, some type of help. And the only assistance and help that Esau is going to give, he's going to say, hey, well, if you get this chip, we'll give you this universal basic income to where you don't even have to work. We'll give you a lump sum of money every month, every 2 weeks. But all you got to do is get this chip. That's it. A lot of people are going to get that because what? They want to take care of their families. They want to take care of themselves. They're going to have to pay their bills. They're going to have to pay their rent. They're going to have to, live. So that's going to, and how Esau is going to package it is going to seem like, it is perfect. It's like, man, you telling me I don't got to work no more? You telling me, all I got to do is just get this implant in my hand and you going to give me money? You going to allow me to basically live for free? But that's the thing. It's not about these AI and these robots is going to make sure that Esau's money is rolling in, that his pockets is lined. At that point, when it comes to humans, Esau just wants to have control over the people and act as the Most High. By way of this technology and this system that Esau is creating, it allows him to, basically preside over people and control them as the Most High does. You know, and that's what the scriptures talk about when it says he's sitting in the seat of the Most High, saying that he is the Most High. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4, if I'm not mistaken. You know, and so that's the thing. It's going to seem sweet, you know, this system that Esau is creating, but it's going to be deeper than just getting the implant and now you getting money, which we not supposed to get that chip in the first place. Because when you go to Revelation 14:9, what does it say? It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So there's a destruction that comes with receiving this chip. And why is that? Because a person may hear that and be like, well, you know, it's just a implant you're getting. It's just, no, the reason why there's destruction that comes with it is because a person is basically giving themselves over to Esau rather than to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, because it says what? That you have to worship Esau's image. That's what you're doing when you receive that mark. Because once you receive that mark, it's not like, okay, now you have it. Now you can just do whatever you want to do and you're going to get that universal basic income. You're going to be able to just live peacefully. No, you're going to have to make sure that you are abiding as Esau wants you to abide in his society. That's what the scriptures speak on those who don't worship the image of the beast should be killed, because worshiping the image of the beast is worshiping Esau's image, his philosophies, his way of life, how he wants you to live according to his way. And if you aren't, it says that you should be killed, which that killing can be literal, to where a person is actually put to death if they aren't operating in Esau's fashion, or that killing when you get into the Greek and you go into the root of, you know, that word, it says of separation, which is basically, well, hey, if you don't get the chip, it says that what, you won't be able to buy or sell. You won't, and what else will you not be able to do? You won't be able to, you know, get a house. You won't be able to get a car. You won't be able to go to the hospital, go to school. You know, you won't be able to fit into Esau's society. So you're going to be separated, which is basically, you know, being killed. So even if you get the chip, and then once you have it, you aren't abiding in Esau's way, he can make it to where you don't get that universal basic income. And you got to, you know, line yourself back up how Esau wants you to be lined up. You know, so that's the thing. You know, Esau is making it to where you are turning away from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai completely once you try to get into the system. And it's similar to now, to where if you want to be successful in Esau's world, if you want to you know, be something and live comfortably in this world, you can't be godly. You know, look at who's successful in this world, and the things that they push is not in line with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You know, they pushing things that are you know, they not pushing sound morals. You know, that is you know, you got to be corrupt to be successful in this world. You got to be you got to push some type of wicked agenda, and it's all in line with Esau's way. So he's creating a society to where not only is that how you have to live if you want to be successful, that's the way you have to live for you to have basic needs, you know. And that's why we have to be willing to deny this world that Esau is creating, even unto death. Because we can't compromise our loyalty toward Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We have to be cemented in you know, hey, as the scriptures say, you know, when we came into this truth, there was something we did. In Romans 12:2, it says, and be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. There was a transformation that we underwent when we came into this truth, to where we wasn't conformed to this world no more. We didn't follow after the fashion and pattern of this place, you know, and you know, the way that this world teaches us to live is Well, it's how Esau taught us to live. You know, it's that Tyrone effect, to where the culture that we have been taught, the way that we have been taught to live is manufactured and created by Esau. But with this truth, Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai giving us the Holy Spirit, showing us the proper way that we supposed to be living, transformed us, that we have become new, and we're living according to righteousness, and in light. So let's read on. It says, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. We're proving what is good, acceptable, and perfect in Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai standards, not Esau. So we have to continue to do that. Continue to live in that transformed mindset, even when there's penalty that comes with it, even when there's when things get hard because of it. Because this is what is going to test whether or not we really standing with Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. Let's get Revelations 3 and 10. This will be the last precept. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. No, this isn't it. Let me see. Oh, no, this is it. Salakia. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. So it's the word of patience that we have to endure. That we have to hold fast and stay strong through the times we're going through right now, and even more once this chip is implemented. We have to continue to endure through all of this until our salvation comes. It says, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. And so what's that temptation mean? Is testing. Let's get into it though. Strong's G 3986, Perasmos, which is an experiment, attempt, trial, proving. And this right here is a beautiful definition. The trial of a man's fidelity, integrity, virtue, and constancy. It's already hard to live according to Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai's way right now. And you have to deal with being judged and deal with, missing out on certain things, quote unquote. Because if we're in the right mindset, we know we're not missing out, but that's how it can feel sometimes to this flesh. We miss out and we're being judged and we're outsiders in a lot of ways and loners from this world, but once it's going to get even more difficult when it comes to, to whether or not you're going to eat, whether or not you're going to have shelter. You have to still hold fast to your integrity and virtue and constancy. It says what in this definition? It says an enticement to sin. So that's the thing. We're about to be enticed. We're about to be tested, and to see if we're going to continue to hold our integrity. And so it says, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which will come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. So we have to continue to hold on. And what's going to keep us grounded is what? This wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures. As it says, it's like, I know I said this was the last precept. I lied. Isaiah 33 and 6, it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. The wisdom and knowledge of what? This truth is going to keep us stable in these times. That's what's going to allow us to endure and hold fast unto salvation. Why? Because, we got the names of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. What? It says the names of the Lord is a strong tower. And if we're calling upon those names and living according to how we're supposed to be living in servitude towards Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, the scriptures tell us what? That their servants is going to eat, that they're going to be taken care of. The scriptures tell us what? That there's a reward that comes from these troubles that we're going through, that we're going to receive a hundredfold in heaven from everything that we deny on this side. We keep all these things in mind, that's going to get us through. These scriptures help us to be spiritually minded, you know, and not depend on this flesh, depend on just, you know, what we're feeling in the moment, or what we're seeing in the moment. A lot of these people in the world that get this chip, or not a lot of them, these people in the world that get this chip is going to get it because they don't have the spirit working with them, because they not, these scriptures ain't going to be flowing through them. They're not going to have this wisdom and knowledge keeping them stable, you know. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baruch HaKadosh. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS, and a salutation unto the elect. Shalom.